Okay, chapter 3, section 2, we're going to go ahead and talk about substitution today. Substitution is just another method used to find the intersection point of two lines on the same coordinate plane. Substitution is best used when a variable has a coefficient of 1. It can always be used, but you will deal with fractional numbers and expressions. I want to make sure you understand what a coefficient of 1 is. If you cannot find a coefficient of 1, I would recommend using elimination. For example, if I had 3x minus y equals 12 and x plus 2y equals 10, which of these variables has a coefficient of 1? Meaning the number in the front is 1. That would be this one. This one has a negative, this top y has a negative 1, but a coefficient of 1 is this one. If you have that, substitution can be used fairly easily. If you don't, I would recommend using elimination. Less likely to make a mistake dealing with fractions. It can be used, but it's a little more difficult. Okay, so here are the steps. Let's go ahead and go through a problem on how to solve using substitution. First of all, steps to choose substitution methods. We're going to choose one equation and pick a variable with a coefficient of 1 if possible. So looking at these two equations, I have 4x plus y equals 5 and x minus 2y equals 8. I have two variables with a coefficient of 1. I have the top y and the bottom x. So I'm going to pick one of them. We'll pick the bottom x. So I have x minus 2y equals 8. Step 2 says we're going to solve the equation for the variable we chose. Well, we chose x because it has a coefficient of 1. So I'm going to add 2y to both sides to solve for that variable. So I have x equals 8 plus 2y. Now, here's where step 3 comes in, the substitution part. Plug that expression into the other equation for that variable. And here's what that means. Just like if I were to give you $1, you could give me 4 quarters and we could interchange and nothing would change. If I would give you an x and you would give me an 8 plus 2y, nothing would change because these are equal. What we're going to do then is we're going to take this 8 plus 2y right here and we're going to replace this x in the first equation that we're given. Instead of x, I'm going to put in an 8 plus 2y. So when I rewrite that, I'm given 4 times, instead of x, plug in your 8 plus 2y plus y, go ahead and finish the equation, equals 5. You can see that that equation is just the top equation rewritten, except the 8 plus 2y is substituted in for the x. And now solve for y. Distribute, so I have 32 plus 8y plus y equals 5. Combine like terms, 8y plus y is 9y. 32 plus 9y equals 5. Go ahead and solve, subtract 32. 9y equals negative 27. Running out of room. Divide by 9. Y equals negative 3. Once you have the solution for your y, go ahead and replace that and find x. I'm going to take that negative 3, plug it in for this y. So I have x equals 8 plus 2 times negative 3, which is, scroll down a little bit, 8 minus 6, x equals 2. My point of intersection is 2, negative 3. So these two lines intersect at the point 2, negative 3. Let's go ahead and try another example. The next example, I'm going to show you what happens when you do not have a coefficient of 1. You're going to end up with fractions. Now, I'm going to go ahead and solve it, but I would recommend if you ever run into this problem, you're going to go ahead and use elimination. I'm going to use substitution just to show you what it looks like. Of the two, I'm going to pick one variable. I'm going to pick the top y. So I have 3x minus 2y equals 16. I'm going to solve this for y. So I'm going to subtract 3x, and I have negative 2y equals 16 minus 3x, divide by negative 2. So I have y equals negative 8 plus 3 over 2x. And here's where we run into our fractions. But I'm going to take that anyway and replace the y in the second equation with negative 8 plus 3 over 2x. So I'm going to replace that y, which gives me 4 times negative 8, oh, excuse me, just kidding. place the y, not the x. 4 times x minus 3 times negative 8 plus 3 over 2x equals 23. So now when I go to solve this, I'm going to go ahead and distribute the negative 3. So I have 4x plus 24 minus 9 over 2x equals 23. Combine your like terms. 4x minus 9 over 2, or minus 4.5, is negative 1/2 x plus 24 equals 23. Subtract 24. So I have negative 1/2 x equals negative 1. Multiply both sides by negative 2 to get rid of your fraction. So I have x equals 2. Since x equals 2, I'm going to go back and I'm going to plug it in here so I can find y. So I have y equals negative 8 plus 3 over 2 times 2. My 2's cancel, so I have negative 8 plus 3, which is negative 5. So y is negative 5. My point of intersection is 2, negative 5. As you can see, this is why we would rather use elimination. I have a lot of fractions and a lot of computations to do. Elimination would have been easier with this problem. This is why we use substitution. This problem is actually probably quicker than even going online and using Desmos, because my y is already solved here and by itself. So all I have to do is just plug it in for that y right down here, and I can solve for x. So I have x plus, and then instead of y, I'm going to put x minus 2 equals 10. Combine like terms, x plus x is 2x, minus 2 equals 10, add 2, and divide by 2. X equals 6. Since x equals 6, I'm going to go ahead and plug it here. Y equals 6 minus 2, so y equals 4. So 6, 4 is my point of intersection. And that was probably quicker by just solving that one equation than it was to even plug it in on Desmos. Let's do one more example. Here I have a leading coefficient of 1 in the beginning, so I'm going to choose the second equation. I'm going to solve it for x. So I have x minus y equals 13. I'm going to add y. X equals 13 plus y. Now I'm going to go ahead and substitute 13 plus y for the first x, which gives me 4 times 13 plus y plus 2y equals 10. Distribute, so I have 52 plus 4y plus 2y equals 10. Combine like terms, 52 plus 6y equals 10. Subtract 52. 6y equals negative 42. Divide by 6. Y equals negative 7. Substitute in, get my y value. Go ahead and take that y value, plug it in for your x to find, or for this y to find your x. So I have x equals 13 plus a negative 7 or minus 7. So I have x equals 6. So 6, negative 7 is my point of intersection.